This is for the book lovers. Hi, I'm Nabwire.
Hi, I'm Marcella.
And welcome to Bookish Banter.
Welcome to part 2 of Jokes on Biko's Drunk. Please watch part 1 if you haven't, so you can catch up.
Let's talk about also the shift of Biko from Larry's problem into the accident and the supernatural event of the baby waking up, or the baby and Larry having like supernatural, is it power? There was some loosely used magic realism with all of this. This guy is, the baby is in Nairobi and the guy is in, is it Eldoret?
I think so.
And all of a sudden they're meeting in dreams.
I don't think.
What
It's
does it say that we are infinitely like intertwined?
I don't think that it's magical. I feel like there's some type of guilt that comes with like causing such an accident where you're thinking you've taken a life.
Yeah.
So there's a chance of you sort of seeing this person in your dream, thinking constantly about this person. Because he tried to visit,
one time.
So just wondering,
even calling.
Wondering how this, and it's a child, so it's like it's a child,
just a figment of his imagination.
Could be an actual dream, because if you think about it, what are your dreams made of?
But then, the thing why I'm saying it's magic, and please don't judge me, but why I'm saying it's magic is because at the end of the book, the baby says, so did the man bring the elephant?
Yeah.
Like, did you guys literally meet in the other world? What is it about? Huh? What is that about? Huh? Okay, it's okay. I understand. But I love such contexts where we're talking about how our realities could be, supernatural. Okay. But the shift from whatever is going on in Larry's life into this supernatural thing, I felt he just like, we are done with the book now. Let's just go now into supernatural stuff.
I don't think so.
I didn't feel a connection because there should have been like some, I don't know, like some allusion to something, maybe beginning of the book. I don't know. Because how did we get into these people in the same dream?
I think
the book was too short. The book was really too short to bring us. Yes, I understand how Ibo kufikiria sana, like thinking too much about something could put you in a different kind of state. You can actually conjure things with your brain.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, I know that. But then,
especially when you're in a space of guilt.
Yes.
That's all you're thinking about.
You can conjure things. I agree 100%. But the book was too short for us to shift from this story into now this.
I don't think so. I don't even think if the book was supposed to be longer, that's something that should have been over-explained. It's something that's sort of
give us like a hint of.
I feel it's
warm us into it.
It's something that's a drop, and it's you to decide how you're going to interpret it. Yeah. So it's something of how do you think what do you think this means?
I'm basing that statement on a review I read about like maybe 2 or 3 that they were like, they didn't understand how it shifted from this to that. But then now actually discussing it now I understand that your brain is very powerful. You can conjure things. You can actually have some telepathy, because telepathy is real. Yes, you can have telepathy with someone you actually had. So it's a possibility of these people actually meeting in the other world.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, it could happen.
It could, and it's something that you're thinking about consistently, because your dreams are essentially, it sort of revolves around things you're doing, things you're wanting to do. Sometimes it's what you're watching, things that you're consuming, that if you overthink something, if sort of you're studying a lot, you'll have dreams around, exam. Did I wake up? Am I late? Such things. For him, he feels like he's taken a life of a child, or she's in critical condition, she's in hospital. What does that mean essentially? So this is something consistently running through, to the point of him wanting to go to rehab and change his entire life and stop this, where he's like, you know what? Yes, I've always known I have a problem, but now I'm ready to get the help you know what,
like
mom,
I'm really sad what I did.
Yeah, your rehab, I'm going to go. So this is something consistently in his mind over and over and over again.
Mm.
So I feel like the whole elephant thing was sort of like symbolic. It's not what it is. It's not like literal.
I love that you said symbolic, because I feel many people missed the symbolism of the elephant.
I feel like it was symbolic to something. It's like I'm releasing this and I'm sort of giving it to you type of thing. Or she was releasing something and sort of giving it to him. Like I'm holding, because even the mother was like, you know what, Sawa, it has happened. Nimewaforgive. I've forgiven you.
I'm okay.
And then you see when one person, now the mother has released it, but for for him, you also have to acknowledge and take it and forgive yourself. And something that isn't spoken about a lot is struggling with self-forgiveness. Like acknowledging, okay, the child, amesema it's okay. The father, same. The mother, same. But for you also have to go through a journey where you see it happened and now I'm wanting to do better. So I felt like it was sort of symbolic of like him being released. Like now, okay, our clash in life has happened.
Yeah.
What you needed to take away from it, you've taken away from it. Now it's sort of like the ball is on your court. Now, do you want to do better for yourself
what
as
is
an
it
individual
now?
or
What's
not?
next?
Yeah.
It all falls back to what we were discussing earlier about perception. Self-awareness is, where are you at as an individual? Like you can't always be the victim.
Yeah, and you always, and also it gets to a point where you always can't blame your childhood trauma.
Yes.
Or like something that happened. Like
take charge.
Yes, it'll always like change parts of your life, but it has to get to a place where you take charge
accountable.
of and you say, okay, this happened. I have certain fears, there's certain things that I do in a certain way, but you can't stay in that state of victimization where you're always, yani wewe, it's always woye.
Hata ye kwa hiyo
Woye now
context,
what?
kwa hiyo context, the hitting of the school bus, he took it so personally. Yet, if you actually look at it from an outside-in perspective, because how many people drop something in the car, they pick it and they still don't hit anyone, right? Like it was just a mistake. It was just a mistake, which ended the way it ended. Also, how many kids were in the bus? It was only one child. Probably she had sad badly. Also Pierre, like she is also responsible for how she ended up. Loosely, no, I don't want to be beaten, but the point is, I wish Larry did not feel like I'm the one who killed this baby. I'm the one who had this baby. No. The thing of perspective.
But I feel like it's
how am I accountable to this particular situation?
I feel like it's also like, if you think about it, the whole build-up of the book was these two characters are bound to meet in a way.
For sure.
And why it was such a big deal to this particular family is because they had like fertility issues. This was like a miracle.
It was the only baby.
Like to may struggle to get this one. I'm not saying like if they had others, it's like, oh, it's fine if you lose that one.
we have others.
It's like it's not like a comparison like that, but it's like this was their only baby who they struggled with. It was a journey already. So we were being built to like these two characters, A and B, are bound to meet. So I feel like for Larry, this was meant to be a wake up call. Like not even having to, this was a wake up call for you to like restructure how you think, to restructure your life. This is something like it's supposed to hit and hit hard. So it's not something that you should take lightly, like, oh, but this happens. It's something that should have been like, and even towards the end, I feel like that's why I'm saying it's symbolism, where it's that, okay, me and you were supposed to meet in life and I met, and the impact that I was supposed to give you, I have
already done.
But now from here, it's for you to do the work. So whether you go right or left, that's up to you. But like whatever impact I was supposed to do, I have done.
You see, even interestingly, you saying that there's a place the baby asks him, so why are you always in this shirt? Also, because he comes out of the dream and thinks, oh yeah, Penny, what type of shirt do I wear? Maybe also that was symbolic. Like, why do I keep on drinking? Why do I keep on doing the same thing all the time? And I hadn't viewed this book in how you're saying.
Yeah.
So I feel this is also like a kind of an opening for me.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the things why he ended the book the way he did. Personally, I loved it. I feel like it's a conversation opener because at the end of the day, we're all going to have different thoughts, different perspectives, and there's no wrong or right.
Yeah.
What you think is what you think. He delivered his message exactly how
And
he
that's
did.
it.
Yeah, and again, he tackled so many big, deep topics in such a concise and brief
100
way.
was it
Yeah.
104 pages?
Yeah, but he this I want to talk about this and this and this and this, and he was able to deliver and talk about them.
Yeah.
And he did that. So how you interpret it, how you look at it, is all about you and your individualness, but also it's open up for conversation.
Let's
Talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about it. What do you think? Oh, that's what you think. What do you think? And it's like it boils down to you. You can either agree to disagree. Somebody can actually change your mind. Somebody can actually open up your view, or you can be like, no, it was a terrible book.
I didn't like it.
Either
I
way,
didn't like it.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's something that everybody should read. Short and sweet.
I mean, yeah,
And-
easy. It's an easy read. If it gets to you, it gets to you. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I feel like especially because I one way or another, everybody has sort of had an encounter with somebody who's struggling, not necessarily with alcohol,
Yeah.
but struggling with something.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah, it sort of opens up your mind to see that it's not just a switch where you're telling them stop and they can stop.
Yeah.
No, it's a process. And also maybe to everybody, if you know somebody, if you are somebody, either give yourself grace or have patience.
Yeah. Also, it says that it's an individual process because regardless of how much help came in,
yeah,
it was always about how am I feeling?
Yeah.
As Larry, how am I feeling? I'm feeling disappointed in myself. I'm feeling, yes.
Why?
It's an individual process.
You have to ask, why do I keep doing this to myself? Why do I keep going back?
Yeah.
What is it? Like either face your demons, remove people off the pedestal, but at the end of the day, you literally have to look yourself
It's
in the
all
mirror.
about you.
Yeah,
Yes.
and stop hiding from whatever it is that you're hiding from. Because as much as people support you, if you're not ready to accept that, honestly, I have abandonment issues. That is what led to. Honestly, I have this. That is what led to. If you're not ready to have that sort of
conversation,
then you'll always keep running back to,
the
bottom.
even the Buddhists actually, they say everything has to come from within. Because if it's influenced from outside, it will always go. But if you have it from within, I mean, you can heal. Why else are all babes in Nairobi talking about inner healing?
Not even babes. I feel like
even dudes nowadays are doing it.
Like you need to, you need
it has to come from me. Like I want to change.
Yeah. Everything like self-awareness, self-love, self-growth. It needs to start from you. Because if you're asking these things from anybody else, it's like it's like you're being entitled to somebody else when you're literally mediocre. Like if you're there sitting, listen, I want a great man, you're supposed to come into such friendships, relationships when you're at a place where you've grown.
Yeah. Where
you've healed.
You want a great
you're
man.
Aware, yeah.
Can the great man handle you?
Yes.
Are you? Who are you?
Yeah. Because there's things that and you can acknowledge. Listen, I know I'm this and this, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
If somebody meets you in your I'm struggling with alcoholism journey, you'll say, I'm not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, but I have wine, but I don't drink.
And
stand firm.
You can say no, and it's okay. It has nothing to do with my character trait.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with you. Yeah, and I don't need you to, because most times, personally, I've also done it where somebody tells you, I stopped drinking, and you ask why. Like, why did you stop? What's the reason? Because you're like, it's not really something to stop, but it's also just, personally, I'd say I did understand that it's a personal choice. So when somebody decides to stop drinking, whether you used to party every day and then suddenly they switched, just supporting them. Like, okay, you're no longer drinking anymore.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're telling you, even you
need to
stop drinking.
No, I mean, everyone at their own time.
Yeah. So if they stopped, they notice that, listen, I'm struggling with this. Acha, niache. Because maybe for them, Monday when you're back to, and maybe you drink like once a month, once every 3 months, you can even go 6 months. Then they're struggling on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday.
It's not easy.
Yeah. So when they stop, it's like, hey, you know what? I support you. And also, just because you've stopped something, you shouldn't pour your past traumas or behaviors into the next person.
So
When you're telling them, "Wow,
projecting.
this is how I
You
started.
know.
I used to drink one glass. So now
I'm still
the
in
next
hurry.
thing, it's like, no, I'm not living your life. So
Stop it.
if you stop, great. I love it for you. But me, niko sawa. As maybe if you see Amanda Sana, then you can tell them. But just because somebody's drinking doesn't mean they have a problem.
Yeah. I feel like we should have these conversations now in Kenya, especially because Kenya is known worldwide. We are people who drink, and we don't just drink.
We drink,
we drink.
But
proper.
but I think that's another thing. Even just the category of Kenyans or young people,
it makes you feel like, oh my god, am I missing out?
No, not really missing out, but don't categorize yourself. Like you can, because I have friends. There's a friend of mine particularly who she'll have a super fun night on Fanta Orange, and she's on the dance floor and she's having the time of her life. So just not having that thing of we must do this. Like we're here to do what, to have fun. Yes, I'm having
Doesn't
fun.
matter.
Yeah, with my Fanta Orange, you're having fun with your. Also, just acknowledging, like when somebody says like I only drink wine. You shouldn't be like, oh, you're bougie or that's all I drink, and full stop. And I don't need to explain it.
Don't explain
it.
Yeah.
Like people who are like, I don't do Makali. That's okay. I only do two.
So you cater for your own
That's
drink.
okay. Yeah. But just know yourself. Again, self-awareness. Know yourself. Accept yourself. And like you don't really need to explain or the whole thing.
Okay.
It's okay.
You just drink how you want, but remember self-awareness. I mean, don't go on a downward hole thinking, oh my god, this is it. I'm gonna die. Let me just drink myself to death.
Yeah. And also, like, I think at the root cause of it, like, face your demons. Because nobody's going to come and face your demons for you. You know what, Millie? Now, nimeheal on your behalf.
On your behalf.
Sasa shika, sasa tuko fiti. Nobody is going to come and heal on your behalf. So if you don't heal, like you'll keep just being distracted. Yeah, because like Larry, he lost a lot of good babe. A lot of good babes.
There's this one from Ushago. That one.
Yeah, a lot of good babes. He had a really good career.
Job.
He had a brilliant mind. Yeah, so.
But it was good what he went through, because we all have to go through this thing of adversity builds character. Always. You have to go through language shit so that you can actually see what is your worth. And value yourself. So I hope by the end of the book, if this was a real story, I hope Larry would have gotten, after going to hospital, maybe he would decide now.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, I feel like Larry may not be real, but this is definitely somebody's story. Maybe like different parts here and there, but it's definitely a struggle that somebody's going through in one way or another with booze or whatever it may be. But just like kubali hiyo and remove your parents.
Like, we all have like flaws.
Accept that your parents are not like superheroes.
So now what? Yeah.
And just choose yourself. I feel like it's very important. Choose yourself. And sometimes the people around you are not telling you something because of jealousy or because they feel that they're better, but they're telling you because it doesn't cross their mind. Like
it doesn't. You're on a downward spiral. It doesn't concern me.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, like his family. His family. Okay. They're not, because he sort of saw his brother. Like, now you feel like you're better than. No, I'm just telling you because I care. And sometimes people just care and they want you at your best. Because also they're getting, like, you being at your best makes the family in this context better. In this context, it makes it better because you can see his mom crying every time. And I'm one Avi and Aliyah. You remember the first time he relapsed? Yeah. Like, he walked into the house and his mom even didn't talk to him. He was like, have you eaten? Like, we're defeated. Because how can we help you? Because these are people who won't leave you. So they just want you to stop. And they're there. And like, here, how can we help? How can I support? So it's like, also as an individual, how can you help yourself? So anyway, on a star of 5, you rate? I'll definitely give I Love Drunk. I love Biko Zulu's or Jackson Biko's writing. For me, it was definitely a 4.5. It's a book I will highly recommend. Why not 5? What's the 0.5 about? It's that like, let's discuss. What do you think? Because maybe how I'm thinking is not how it's supposed to be, and I like that there was space for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I think I had given it a 3 in Goodreads, but I think I'm gonna shift to 3.5 now. Mainly because the 0.5 is because I've changed my perspective on how I've ended the book. I was like, this guy just dropped us from heaven. But now I've seen it in the context of could be this, could be that. The rest of the numbers on the scale is just because of the reviews I read. And
so you feel like you agree with the reviews?
I could agree with the reviews because I've also read his articles, and I feel
no, but like without. I feel like you should rate it without comparison.
without comparing.
Articles. We were talking about.
I'm
drunk.
already influenced.
Huh? But
there's no way we are going back.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you can have an author who writes book that just is amazing.
Is wow.
Doesn't mean that his second book will be the same. So you can't add points from this one that you gave a 5-star. So
look at you.
Alone, we're not talking about his
based on drunk.
Yeah, just the book and what it did for you.
Well, 3.5. I still stick there because it was written well. Let me begin there. I love Biko. I love his writing. I love how he's witty, he's humorous. There were some contexts that were very funny. I love it written in the Aban with an E context of Kenya. And I
love that.
Yes, I fully relate. Even the language is Kenyan,
And there's points where he used Swahili. And I was like,
he's like, I'm not translating for the Banda boys. I mean, whatever. Yes, so I feel like that was great. Though someone, I'm not going to say that, but I feel like it was well written. It had all of this good stuff, but I feel like it could have gone on kiasi, maybe give more character to some of the characters, give them more weight, kidogo. Like I wanted to know more about the baby, like more about the artisan, more about the wife of the artisan. Maybe he would have given a bit more flesh because it was either Larry or the artisan in the book. So I feel like Larry was given more than the artisan. And yes, we've known he's struggling, blah, blah, blah. He's in the Juakali industry. But I needed who is the artisan as a human being? Who is the artisan? Yeah. So the rest of is it 1.5 is because there was not much meat on the other character.
Okay. Yes. To respond to, that it was a question, I feel like the artisan was sort of like, by the way, he was supposed to be like the cat part of the exam.
It was juxtaposed.
Yeah, it was just like, it was just a build up because they're going to meet somewhere. They're supposed to have an impact on Larry's life on the way. It wasn't a story about him. It was just bits and pieces of his life. We were told about the fertility issues of him and the wife because the child was coming to play a big role in Larry's life. Yeah. It wasn't
and the context also of fertility would bring more weight.
Play a big part in us understanding why
there's a big fuss about this child.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we didn't need to know too much about him, but we needed to have Larry's backstory, side story, front story, current story, his mindset, and everything. I feel like it was exactly the size that it was supposed to be. It was supposed to leave us like, shwa.
I will drink.
So when you're sleeping months and months, it's, a good book is also something that you sit months later and you're like, what? If somebody brings it up, you're like, even me, I was wondering.
I was thinking,
like that. So it's also very conversational. His writing is also very, like, literally, it's like he's there and he's telling you, Sasa,
kuna story.
Sasa, I would say, basically, that's what his book was. So, 4.5.
Okay, I mean
3.5, 4.5, but read it. Tell us thoughts.
Average should be what? 4, maybe.
So
that's a good rating.
Yeah, as an average, it's
definitely would recommend.
Yeah, definitely recommend. You guys tell us your thoughts, your opinions, whether you agree or disagree. Yeah,
but it's an easy read, and you need to read more of Biko's work.
Yeah, he has 2 other books this Thursday and a newer one that I cannot remember the title, but definitely check out his work. He's a Kenyan author, a great one at that. Yeah, and thank you for listening through and through. Yeah, there'll be more and more. As we said, this is Bookish Banter.
Cheers.